How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the Pearson Podcast, episode 72. Boom. Hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic, as always. Yes, I missed yesterday, which was Monday, the day that I usually upload these, but I was sick as, see, I don't even know what's going on. So basically, before I get into what was going on sickness-wise, let me just give you a little quick gist of what I'm going to be talking about this podcast. So, I'm going to be talking about explaining my sickness, because it's weird. It's weird. I'm going to be talking about a little bit about the road trip thing, but mainly going to be explaining my upcoming travel plans. All right? So, let's get right into this. So, basically, yesterday, so let's say today's Tuesday, Sunday, the day before yesterday, by the end of the day, I had that kind of pre-sickness feeling where it's like kind of just sensitive to the touch kind of thing, when you're sick and you're achy, it like kind of just hurts to touch things. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird. I feel kind of sick. And then I went to sleep. Yeah, I think it was that night. So I went to sleep, right? And I took a Tylenol before I went to sleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night. First of all, the dreams were wild. And as I'm telling you this, I'm realizing that the story is not going to be that great, so I'm just going to kind of speed through it. I had some crazy weird dreams, but the main thing that made it super weird is I woke up in the middle of the night and had the most severe chills I have ever had in my entire life. Like, chills is like, I was like, you had to see the video of the podcast to see what I just did. Just crazy, uncontrollably chills. And I was aware enough to be like, okay, to check my kind of body temperature. I'm like, I'm not cold, like maybe I was slightly cold, like not cold. I wasn't cold enough to be that, to be shaken like that. And like I was comfortable with the heat. It was the heat that I would usually prefer while sleeping. But I was like just insanely cold, or just insane chills, and I don't even know how long it lasted. Maybe, it's one of those things where, every second seems longer, so it felt like 5 minutes. Maybe it was only a minute or two, but I did everything to kind of try and control it. Just going, like really try and compose myself, breathe really controlled, and then and then it would just start back up. And it was just mad weird. And I guess it just stopped and I went to sleep, but it was so weird. Like, I don't know why that happened. So basically, that night was weird. Woke up the next day, and was feeling it. Basically, I had really bad body. Okay, so here were my symptoms, and this was yesterday, mind you. Today, spoiler alert, I feel basically fine. Slight achiness, but basically fine. So, what was I talking about? I gotta put up my transcriber, or else I'll forget everything I'm saying. I use the app called Otter. Lets me do like a half an hour for free, and then you just stop it and replay it, and then you get another free half an hour. So, what was I talking about? So here are my symptoms, right? When I woke up after the night of chills. And it was literally like I was laying in the middle of a forest, nude. Like, at night. It would have been that cold. What it was raining, I don't know. It was just like the most crazy chills I've ever had in my life. So basically, these were my symptoms. aches, body aches, where it's just like hurts to move, sensitive, kind of like, it just hurts to, like, I put on my deodorant and it hurt just putting on my deodorant. And really hot, like sweaty. I was just always sweating. Super weird, but that's it. No coughing, no sneezing, no sore throat, no vomiting. I barely even had a fever. I think the highest my fever got was like 99 or something like that. Super freaking weird. And then went to sleep last night, woke up, and it's 10 a.m. right now, actually, perfectly 10 a.m., and I feel completely fine. So, and again, completely fine. I feel like just a smidge of something reminiscing, but by the end of the day, I'll be perfectly fine. So, it's super weird. And my mom actually did some research because, we're all aware this is super weird. I think she said she did some research and it comes back to low blood sugar, stress, or sleep deprivation. Could be stress. Sleep deprivation, I've been sleeping a lot. I always sleep, not a lot, but enough, Low blood sugar, I don't even know what that means. Low potassium, no idea. And anemia, I don't know. But she told me to message my doctor, so that's what I'll do. So that's that. Very weird. Perfectly fine now. It's so weird. Just a day, like a full 24 hours of just being blasted. And then I'm basically fine now. It's so weird. But let's get on something, more fun. That's that. So, as you guys might know, I went on a crazy road trip. I don't even know when I got back. Yeah, I don't even know. No idea. Probably like 2 weeks ago or something like that. And I've been uploading the videos, and I have one more video to upload. I think one or two, from the trip. But I've been wanting to make a podcast on it, and I was gonna do this day the podcast, or I guess yesterday this podcast, the podcast about it. But I was sick yesterday, and today So basically, long story short, I messaged my grandma, the one that I went on the road trip with, or I called her, and asked her asked her if she would want to do the podcast with me, and she said yeah. So that only makes sense to do the podcast about the trip with the person I went on the trip with. So that'll be fun. Probably going to be next podcast. They actually just left this morning. To I don't know. I could probably say where they went, but I won't, just for privacy's sake. My brothers left with my grandparents to somewhere for a couple days. They just did that probably about 20 minutes ago, and now I've got the house to myself, ladies and gentlemen. So that's kind of the thing. Also, is like with these podcasts, I don't want to be a burden to the people in the house with me, especially because my brother, one of my brother's rooms is right behind the wall that I'm like literally talking to, so I know he must be able to hear. So this is the way I usually talk, and this is the way I'm talking now, kind of more clear and more podcast voicey. So I'll probably start to do that from now on, because now that I do it, the regular voice thing it's not that big of a difference, and I bet it sounds a lot better on for audio. And also, something that I do with my voice is I'll just completely kind of zone out, trying to projection wise, and kind of just start talking like this, and with the gravelly voice. My voice just tends to do that unless I kind of talk at this decimal type thing, if you will, this volume that I'm talking now. So I think I'm less inclined to kind of get that gravelly voice if I talk louder. So, podcast about the road trip probably coming next Monday, which will be episode 73. But no promises. You know what I'm saying? So, let's get down to the brass tacks. And again, sorry, I don't have a whole lot to talk about this podcast, so it's not going to be a long one. I've honestly been just kind of out of it recently. I've had a lot of stuff on my mind, so maybe that's why I got sick. I don't know. Probably had to do with a lot of factors, but yeah, I've just had a lot on my mind, and so it's been kind of difficult for me to write down things to talk about for the podcast during that week. Because usually that's what I would do. Just whenever I think of something to do or talk about on the next podcast, I'll just open my notes. I have a little note section for, I'll call it like PP, Pearson Podcast 72 notes. Every time I think of something, I'll put it down there. And so for this one, I didn't even prepare for it. This morning, I basically was just writing down some things to talk about, and it's enough to make it interesting. Especially the travel stuff will be pretty interesting, and in my mind at least, not everybody will, but so yeah, what was I talking about before? Yeah, so I've just had a lot on my mind. So, apologize for that. Just trying to figure this life thing out, am I right? All right. So, traveling. I like traveling, and it's most people my age don't get to travel. I'm 25, gonna be 26 this year. God bless. That is insane. I can sneeze. That is insane. I'm gonna be 26 this year. I was talking to my brother about this. It's like, when COVID happened, we basically lost like 2 years of my life. Can we all just like come together and be like, all right, let's just take 2 years off of our life? Like the age, be like, if you're actually 20, if you're like technically 25, you're allowed to say you're 23. You know what I mean? All right. I feel like the power of the mind, if you truly believed that you were 10 years younger than you actually are, like say I really believed in my head I was 15, and then maybe when you're 85, you truly believe in your head, like you know you're not, you know in your head that you're not lying to yourself when you're 85, and think I'm 75, or 95, you're actually 85, something like that, then I feel like your brain would push you along to live longer. It's like mind over matter type of thing. It's like, me and my grandpa were talking about this morning. It's like, the mind is so freaking powerful that, the whole thing of like, we only use 10% of our brain, or whatever number it is. It's like, in the future, when people, if we're able to do enough testing or analysis or research, blah, 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 and we learn how to truly harness the power of our brain, I mean, we could have the Force. We could, cut our limb off and like grow it back or some crap, you know what I mean? Like, or just like stop being sick, or like, because, I was talking to my grandpa last night as well, and we were just talking about whatever, and he kind of made my mood better, and in doing that, just making my mood better, I can almost feel myself become less sick. It really is insane. And I've said this before. I had a COVID scare. I went to some appointment. The guy's temperature thing was dumb and completely wrong. He's like, "You have a fever," even though I went home and it was like 97. And when I went home from that appointment thinking that I had a fever, I felt sick. And then as soon as I got home, did the temperature and took the COVID test and found out both were fine, I felt fine again. It's like, it's so weird. It's so weird. So basically all that to say that the mind is just insanely powerful. What brought this whole conversation on? I don't know, but I'll go back in my notes and see. Let's see. I was talking about the age thing. Okay, so I'm going to be 26 this year. I like traveling, and most people my age don't get to travel. That's what I was saying. Most people my age don't get to travel because I'm 25. Most people my age would be moved out, debt, job, kid. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and all of those, maybe except the job thing, because job gives you vacation time, whatever. But all of those inhibit you from really doing things for yourself. So when I did this like month-long vacation at all these hotels, I hardly saw any people my age. I saw young kids, but very few people were actually my age. And because most people can't take a month off and just F off for a month. And obviously the whole money thing, but that's kind of a different that's a whole different thing. Just time wise. So that's kind of the thing with me. It's like I really I don't want to give that up, I'm 25. Okay. I've got plenty of time. In 10 years, I'll be 35. And that's still young. I even consider 45, 55 to be relatively young, all right? And in 55, that'll be 30 years from now, I believe. Yeah. So if I live an entire lifetime of what I just did, I'll be 50. I felt like I've lived a lot of life, plus, I can basically discount the first 10 years because I was barely sentient. You know what I mean? It's almost like just a dream. All those years. So I basically have lived only 15 years of my waking life. Basically only 15 years. It was crazy. I was watching, and this is a quick little, blurb, but we were watching Planet Earth with my Planet Earth 2 with my family. And it's like, those animals come out of the womb, some of them come out of the womb and they can walk instantly. And it's like, we take 10 years just to become sentient, basically. It's crazy. Imagine if we just came out of the womb and we're like, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Okay, so yeah, all that, basically, blah-blah-blue, to just say that I like traveling, and I don't want to give up my life just yet. I don't want to give up my life ever I want to be able to do what I want. I want to be able to travel, and I totally understand the responsibility of paying off your debt. You moved out by choice or by not, and have to pay rent. You got a kid, blah, blah, blah. I don't have any of those things, really. So I really want to take advantage of it by having a decent job, take one banger of a vacation every year. Depending on how much vacation days, maybe I get, maybe I can do one like huge trip being 2 to 3 weeks, something like that, and to like a different place in the world. And I'll be talking about the places I want to go after this whole spiel, but and then maybe one or two smaller trips to just, camping or someplace drivable or whatever. But and just save most of my money. But that's besides the point. All right, let's get into the juice. Okay, so I've got 4 trips planned in the future. All right. So one is one that I've talked before a lot, Japan. Tokyo, Japan, with my little brother Spencer. And little side note, he is on this trip with my grandparents. I lent him my GoPro. He's going to be making a vlog for his YouTube channel. His YouTube channel is Lil Skizzy. Just look up LIL space SKIZZIE YouTube. You'll find him. I'm in some of the videos. Fun fact, we used to do the podcast called the Doodle Dose Podcast, and it banged for a while. But maybe he didn't see it like that, but we stopped doing that basically. So he's making a vlog there. So the Japan trip will be with him. It's one of those things where I think it was the beginning of COVID, early 2020, and he's like, I've always wanted to go to Japan, it's on my bucket list. I'm like, well, why don't we just go? Type thing, kind of just to show him that, it's the whole bucket list thing. It's like, I want to do this before I die, after I retire. It's like, I think that's all baloney. You can do these things when you're young. You just have to be smart about your future and stuff like that, and not commit yourself to those things that I mentioned before that prohibit you to kind of be free and do what you want when you want. So I told him, you get a job, it's easier for me to make that money, but for him, I wanted him to pay for it himself. I might help him out a little bit because I obviously want to go really bad as well. But it won't be anytime soon because COVID, it's level 3 over there, which is reconsider travel. I forgot what website that's on or whatever, but I think to put it in perspective, if you live in America, I believe America is level 2, which level 2 is increased precautions. Level 1 is normal precautions, and level 4 is do not travel. Places like, my voice is kind of going. Places like North Korea would be level 4, but that kind of puts it in perspective. If Japan is level 3 and North Korea is level 4, you know what I mean? Yeah, you really might want to reconsider travel. Take a drink of my coffee real quick. So, Japan, sometime in the future, but this is what we were thinking. Since Japan is level 3, reconsider travel, and we definitely don't want to go to a place where we have to wear the mask. That's for sure. That would suck. Is we thought about doing a pre-trip somewhere to, one, just go on a trip, not ball out as much as we would ball out in Tokyo, but ball out enough to where it's fun. And in these places, we're fine with a decent hotel. It just has to be clean. You know what I mean? I don't care about anything else really. If it's small as crap, I just want it to be clean. And we don't go on, like fancy things like, just things that cost a lot of money. We'll eat small, like uh, convenience store type things. We're good with our money in that way, so we can get big trips for low money. And so basically, South Korea is what we kind of finalized, not finalized, but just are leaning towards, because Spencer, he likes the cities. He doesn't like a trip to, like, even Chiang Mai, Thailand. He doesn't like, because he's like, I mean, he saw a bunch of the motorcycles, the Vespa type things, and I forgot what he said. I think he just doesn't, it's just more rural, I guess. What does rural mean? Hey Siri, what does rural mean?
Rural means in, relating to, or characteristic of the countryside rather than the town.
Right. Okay. Yeah, Chiang Mai, it is a quite a large city, but I don't know, whatever. That is more rural, quote unquote, than South Korea. So he likes the cities, doesn't want to go to places like uh, Nicaragua, places like that, because it's like he's afraid of bugs and crap like that. Which, who isn't? But I don't mind them. You know what I mean? Um, I don't like bugs either. You know what I'm saying? But I'll go to these places just because I want to see the world. And if, a spider as big as my face jumps onto my face and, like an alien, and impregnates me, and an alien pops out of my stomach, so be it. So, South Korea is what we decided on, kind of, and this is our price breakdown. So, I'm looking at it behind the camera. I have all my vacations, kind of like a goal board, if you will. So, okay, gotcha. So South Korea, the flights, and this is for one person, flights round trip, 1,000 bones. That ain't jack. For somewhere like that, that ain't jack. So for $50, and again, this is all just one person. This is what each of us would be paying each. For a $50 a night hotel, and let me say this, well, first of all, I'll just finish it. $50 a night hotel, and we go for 14 days, that's $700. And, I'm not including tax or whatever. I could have, make it 1,000, whatever. Which is way more than it'd be, but whatever. So $700 for 14 days, and this $50 a night hotel is like better than any hotel I've ever seen in anywhere in the United States. Like, I haven't been in crazy places like LA, New York, stuff like that, but it's like a huge tower, like skyscraper, looks awesome, has like purple lights and crap all over the place, and like balcony, restaurant at the top. $50 a night. Huge TV in there, boudet. It's just crazy, and it's $50 a night. I'm like, what? It's awesome. And now, one thing about hotels in Asia, and I'm pretty sure, I know it's the case with Japan, but say it's $50 a night for one person. If it's two people, it's $100. So it's like $50 per person, which in the United States, if it was $50, it would just be $50 a night, no matter how many people, type thing. Well, there's like a certain limit, like you can't have more than 6 or something like that. But yeah, yeah. So that's, but with two of us, it'd be $100, which still, like most nice places, on a weekday, it'd be around 150 to, and when I say nice places in the United States, I mean, Best Western, Hampton, Holiday Inn Express. In a weekday, it's 150 to 180, and then weekends is 180 to kind of 230. You know what I mean? And this is for two people $100 a night. So it's like, you yanking my chain. So that's that. So right now for one person we're at 1,700 for flights and hotel. All right. So what do you leave? What do you need after flights and hotel? Well, food and miscellaneous. So I basically just added. I don't know. It rubbed off. I think I added 2,000. Yeah, $2,000 for just random giblets. All right. So that's $3,700, and you live like a king. $3,700, ladies and gentlemen. $3,700. That's a king in South Korea. And again, we don't ball out. Now, I'll have to bring a lot more in that because I'm gonna get I'm gonna probably get my whole arm covered in South Korea, my whole left arm, just because they have. I mean, in my opinion, they have the best tattoo artists in the entire world. I haven't seen them better anywhere else. Each time I'm browsing Instagram, I'm like, oh wow, this is the most amazing tattoo I've ever seen. Click on their profile, South Korea. I'm like, so it's like. I'm gonna have like I don't know, like at least two different places scheduled out, two different artists to get a tattoo from because it's like it's mind blowing how frickin' insane they are. Like, if you don't believe me, check it out. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna get a tattoo in Japan as well. Found this really nice, good artist. So I want to get a tattoo anywhere I go. All right, so South Korea and Japan. South Korea first, and then hopefully we can go over to South Korea next year. South Korea next year, boom, and then hopefully in 2 years from now. Japan is back to level 1. Oh yeah, and by the way, South Korea is level 1. It's even safer right now than the United States, COVID-wise. So they're back to normal in South Korea. And South Korea, they're the one that I think they're it's almost like I don't know, they're just spending a lot on their entertainment, their films and well, they're films for sure, but they have rides and crazy stuff like that. Now, I really appreciate South Korea, what they're doing. They're really spending a lot of money into their entertainment, kind of like the United States, and I really appreciate that. It's almost like a little mini South Korea over there, or a little mini United States. So, really excited for that, South Korea. And I did the price breakdown for Japan. I have it somewhere. I wonder if I have it in my notes. Let me check real quick. No. No. Whoops, sorry if I'm talking on the freaking mic. No, I forgot. But it's something similar. I think we did like $4,000 and we lived like a king. But then again, we're just gonna kind of bring as much as we have type thing. We're just gonna, better to bring a lot more than we need. Also, something that's kind of unsure is we might be going to Europe with my grandparents. I think that'd be freaking amazing. But that's an unsure thing. So that's just kind of that's just something that I hope will happen. But we'll just that's just something, whatever. Okay, so two other trips. So right now we got South Korea, Japan, boom boom. South Korea, Japan. Now I have 2 trips planned with my mom. So one is New Zealand, See, I'm basically like I want to go everywhere and anywhere, and and so I kind of just keep asking my family. I'm like, where would you want to go, and then we can go together, type thing. So my mom wanted to go to New Zealand and Portugal. So New Zealand, just because it's it's beautiful, it's amazing. VV NFTs originated from there. Lord of the Rings, obviously, we can see the Shire. Wow, talk about a what's that thing called? Bucket list. Whew, that will be amazing. Seeing the GD Shire. And then Portugal, Portugal's got that classic, where you go to a little cafe shop type thing. You see a small alleyway and just a couple two-seater tables along the alley, and you're sitting out there, and they bring you a couple glasses of wine and some, a board with some freshly cut meat and cheese and some bread, freshly baked bread, and you just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? That is like somewhere where you just kind of want to eternally be in that exact space of mind with just a glass of delicious wine. You're just sitting, people watching this beautiful architecture, and just watching life happen, and you're having delicious snacks right there, and it's not crazy late. It's like 1-2 p.m. and you're just enjoying life. That's just it's just a perfect kind of thing. So Portugal, it's right next to Spain. Yeah, Portugal, New Zealand, boom boom, with my ma. Those would be amazing. Me and my mom have never really gone on a vacation, just us two. So I think that'd be super awesome. And then so one that and then I still kind of have Chiang Mai, Thailand, um, on the back burner, because it's just insanely cheap. Just a quick breakdown of that is the flights will be $1,000 both ways, and then a hotel for 9 days is $135. So it's like, hey, and it's a nice house. It's even shaped like a mushroom. Uh, so $2,000 and I'll live like a complete nutter king. $2,000, ladies and gentlemen. So that's something that I kind of just have it on the back burner. But again, I only have a certain amount of, once I get a job, I only have a certain amount of vacation days to go on these vacations, So, so something that I was mentioning that's kind of wishy-washy. And by the way, after I say finish all this, I'm gonna say places I definitely don't want to go in my life. At least at this stage in my life and where my brain is right now. Things could change, but I think it's kind of interesting. Um, a place that is kind of iffy is Nicaragua. Nicaragua. I always kind of feel a little worrisome saying that place name, Nicaragua. But yeah, so I have some cousins that live in Nicaragua. So so it'd be kind of a place to go. You have some family. I've never met them. So it's kind of just like one of those things where the place looks amazing. I even looked up like best budget places to travel, and that was one of them. So, but it's one of those places where it does have spiders the size of your head, and creepy crawlies and stuff like that. And they've got one of those houses where it's like there's no walls type thing. But that's the thing about life. It's like, talk about a frickin' experience, my lord. So that's that. That's something that's just kind of on the back burner. So some places that I don't want to go to. There's 3 places that I know I don't want to go to, and they all start with an A. And they all end with an A. First one is Australia. Sorry, but it's cool. Like, I like the people and everything, but it's like they've just got the deadliest crap ever. I mean, they literally have the most deadliest thing in the world, the blue ring jellyfish, and they also have the second most deadly jellyfish. They have, I think, like 6 of the most dangerous snakes in the world. I'm pretty sure there's lions, there's tigers or bear now. There's all kinds of crap. I don't know. It's just that ain't for me. Sorry. At least in this stage. So that's that. Africa is the next one. I mean, it's like I'm really iffy on Africa because I want to go there so badly, but I'm so scared of malaria. You know what I mean? And it sucks because my friend Dallas's wedding is probably going to be in Africa. In is it Nigeria? No, I forgot. But it's maybe it's Nigeria. I don't know. But and honestly, I'll go for the wedding. I'll do it. That's one of those one in a lifetime things, and it's just like life tells you that. All right, I just gotta do it. But I am scared of malaria, and not to mention, um, lions and things like that. And so that Africa is, I guess, now that I think about it, the whole Dallas thing is that's one of the reasons why I would go over there. But besides that, there's just places that I'd much rather go. And then Antarctica, that's kind of a cop-out, but I'm afraid of ice and deep snow and crevasses and stuff like that, so screw that. It would be cool. It'd be sick. It'd be awesome. But it's kind of like, and I don't know much about Antarctica, but aren't the views just like solid white? Look over there, it's just white. Hey, look over there, it's white. You know what I mean? So, last thing I'll say is I'm going on another trip in 10 days, and I will be gone for 8 days. So, it's going to be a really relaxing trip, and, I might make a little video about it, but it's kind of like a relaxing type thing that I'll make a podcast over there. I can't promise I'll make a vlog, but I will make a podcast there, probably in the forest or somewhere really nice, and that'll be cool. So yeah, I don't think I have really anything else to say, and I kind of need to go to the bathroom. So hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I really hope you guys are just happy with life overall. And if you're not, depending on what it is, maybe you should reach out and talk to someone, and because therapy helped me immensely. And people that are look down on therapy, then they probably need therapy the most. So, yeah, if you guys want to comment anything, I'd really appreciate that. I really appreciate, I appreciate comments over likes, but if you're not going to comment and you enjoyed, then I appreciate likes. I really like seeing the likes, even though I shouldn't. I should just enjoy doing it as much as I do, regardless of the likes and dislikes. But it makes me happy when I see likes. But I should probably get over that, because it also makes me equally as sad as it does happy when I see a dislike. And I recently got my first dislike on on one of the vlogs. I've got a couple dislikes on the podcast. I'm telling you because you guys can't see, unless you have a plug-in. But I got a dislike on one of the vlogs. I'm like, I get it. I mean, like the camera was shaky as crap. I mean, I wouldn't have watched it. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of put it out there for if any, whatever. That's besides the point. Hope you all enjoyed. I really hope you are happy with life, and I will see you all next Monday. Peace.